Okay, now let's learn about the architecture of .NET applications. At a very high level, when you build an application with C#, your application consists of building blocks called classes. These classes collaborate with each other at runtime, and as a result, the application provides some functionality. Now, what is a class? A class is a container that has some data, which is also called attributes, and functions, which is also called methods. Functions or methods have behavior. They execute code. They do things for us. Data represents the state of the application. Let me use an example. Think of a car. A car has some attributes, like its make, its model, its color. These are the attributes of a car. A car also has some functions. We can start it, or we can move it. So you can think of a car as a class. In a real-world application, we have tens, hundreds, or even thousands of classes, each class responsible for a piece of functionality. An example of that is classes that are responsible for getting the data from the user, process the data, and display something to the user. Now, as the number of classes in an application grows, we need a way to organize these classes. That's where we use a namespace. So a namespace is a container for related classes. For example, in .NET Framework, we have namespaces, each containing tens of related classes. We have namespaces for working with data, like databases. We also have namespaces for working with graphics and images. We have namespaces for working with security. Now, in a real-world application, as these namespaces grow, we need a different way of partitioning an application. And that's where we use an assembly. An assembly is a container for related namespaces. Physically, it's a file on the disk, which can either be an executable or a DLL, which stands for Dynamically Linked Library. So when you compile an application, the compiler builds one or more assemblies depending on how you partition your code. In the next lecture, we're going to write a very simple C# application, and you're going to see all these concepts in action.